As Halloween nears, we start getting flyers of haunted house attractions being set up in our area. Since these houses usually only open a couple of weeks a year, they always try to outdo each other with well-thought-out gimmickry and high production values. As you start smelling pumpkin spice in the air, let us tour you through 6 scariest haunted houses to visit this Halloween. We'll take you to a real haunted place converted to a haunted house attraction, to real physical distress and psychological terror inflicted on haunted house guests. You'll see houses that definitely raise the bar on how to scare off patrons. Gone are the days when haunted houses were just a series of zombie jump scares without a narrative. But before we start on our haunted house tour, please tap on the subscribe button and ring the notification bell for more haunting stories like this. For our first stop, number 6, PENNHURST Asylum. The PENNHURST Asylum was a real insane asylum which earned the label the Shame of Pennsylvania because of the inhumane practices that went on in the state-run facility that was meant to cater to the healthcare needs of the mentally and physically handicapped. The facility, which closed down in the 80s, was believed to be haunted by thousands of patients who suffered from maltreatment during their stay in the hospital. The asylum was said to be a hub of paranormal activities. After 25 years of abandonment, the controversial complex reopened its doors to become the scariest tourist destination in Pennsylvania. The asylum opens year-round for regular tours, but during Halloween, it is transformed into a horror show where actors play out the barbaric experiments and extreme treatments executed on patients of the asylum. And that is what makes this Halloween attraction different from the rest. What they show is based on real happenings. Well, plus the fact that PENNHURST Asylum is really haunted. When you watch the sideshow, at the back of your mind, you can't help thinking, am I still watching actors? Number 5, EREBUS. Dr. Colbert needed more subjects to work with on his time travel lab. He ran out of willing participants because all the subjects who came back from their travels were always in extreme degrees of mutation, if they came back at all. Plus, his funding was cut. No subjects, no money. What was he to do? Then the mad doctor came up with a brilliant idea. Now he has an endless supply of specimens and has a steady source of funding for his time travel project. You know what he did? He disguised his time machine as a haunted house attraction. Thus, the EREBUS is born. The EREBUS, which opened in 2000, is the world's largest haunted house attraction, as recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records. Located in Pontiac, Michigan, this haunted attraction houses 4 stories of state-of-the-art Hollywood standard effects and creepiness. This Tower of Terror opens only 30 days every year, but the planning and execution of the horror park takes place all throughout the year, employing hundreds of people. The EREBUS was named after the darkness beneath the earth, which the dead must pass through to get to Hades. So expect lots of underworld creatures, such as zombies and ghouls. And watch out, because they will grab you, bite you, throw you in a dark room, or even bury you alive. So if you want to survive the EREBUS, bring a friend along to hold on to, scream with, get terrified with, and laugh with when you make it through the ordeal. Number 4, the DENT Schoolhouse. The DENT Schoolhouse, which is located in Cincinnati, Ohio, is known to be one of the best haunted attractions in the Midwest. The haunted experience is comprised of a 25 to 35-minute horror-filled tour with a good mix of jump scares and high-value production scenes. Adding another dimension to the experience is the fact that the DENT school was a real school that opened back in 1894 and closed down in the 1950s. The people behind the attraction effectively threaded an urban legend with a running story of the DENT schoolhouse in which Charlie, the janitor/body snatcher, plays the demented lead. The house offers two attractions. One is the DENT schoolhouse, which revolves around Charlie's character. Do you think you will end up in the basement, hidden in a cylindrical container wedged between the brick walls like the others, as the legend goes? Or will you survive to experience the second haunt, the Queen City Slaughter Yard? Pray that you don't end up in someone's stew. Well-timed pop-ups of actors from unexpected places, convincing prosthetics, a lot of meticulous art direction, and skilled acting makes the DENT schoolhouse a brutally convincing horror experience. Number 3. Blackout. The Blackout Haunted House is an immersive horror experience which was launched in 2009. It was born out of its creator's frustration that it was becoming increasingly hard to get scared. According to creators Josh Randall and Christian Thor, Blackout was more about performance art than a haunted house. In the house, you don't see ghosts, zombies, and vampires. What surprised most patrons who tried Blackout is their submissiveness to following orders. They were gagged, smothered with plastic bags, made to crawl through tubes, thrown down stairs, made to lose their clothing, and touched by the performers in any way they pleased. Why did they choose not to use the safety word? Why did they allow it and continue to wait for the next dreadful thing to happen to them, again and again? Blackout creators explain that this is a natural tendency when people believe that they are in a controlled setup. They allow it because at a certain point when the need arises, they know they can always put a stop to it. Maybe the real terror here is what we allow ourselves to put up with, and why. Meanwhile, some criticized Blackout, saying that assault of any form should not be marketed as entertainment. Number 2. Gates of Hell. The Gates of Hell, one of the Freakling Brothers' trilogy of terror attractions, is definitely one of the most terrifying haunted houses. It takes the haunted experience to a whole different level. In fact, it was the first haunt to be given an R rating due to its graphic content. You also have to be over 18 to be admitted, and you are required to sign a waiver before entering. One has to be mentally prepared to enter the Gates of Hell because it is a sadistic experiment that challenges all of your senses. You must be prepared to get estranged from your companions, prepared to be harassed, prepared to have your clothing damaged or removed. You have to be ready to be touched, pushed, groped, prodded, electrically shocked, trapped in enclosed spaces, verbally and emotionally assaulted. It will put you in that mind-opening position of how would it feel to lose your life and meet the Prince of Darkness. Clearly, one would never find a commercial haunt such as the Gates of Hell. It is an intense experience that many do not follow all the way through and opt to use the safety word. Before we move on to the scariest haunted house to visit this Halloween, please remember to press on the subscribe button to get more content like this. In the number 1 slot, number 1, Mckamey Manor. Mckamey Manor is unquestionably the scariest and the most extreme haunted house experience in the world. It is basically a torture house, plain and simple. Let's put it this way, it's like starring in your own snuff film, so people can hurt you for 8 straight hours. Yeah, crazy. First you start off with signing a 50-page waiver. Then you set a safety word in case the experience is too much for you. It's always too much, by the way, as nobody's ever hit the 8-hour mark. Then the torture begins. You are yelled at, assaulted, and forced to do all sorts of humiliating acts, and shoved into situations that will psychologically and physically break you. Dunk your head in water and keep it there. Lock you in a coffin full of bugs and spiders. Gag you. Force feed you gross stuff. Even puke. The manor is located in Russ Mckamey's backyard in San Diego, California. Mckamey's extreme haunt method has earned him a cult following. Since he only invites 2 guests per weekend, the waiting list to enter the manor has become ridiculously long, like 27,000 people long. And you know what? He and his torture crew do not get paid for this. Mckamey only accepts payments in the form of a few cans of dog food, which he turns over to Operation Greyhound. Yep, it's for charity. Okay, we hope today's episode helped you decide which haunted house to visit this Halloween. As always, thank you for stopping by. Please check out our other videos and remember to hit the subscribe button for more creepy content like this. See you on the next countdown.